Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. SonicWeb Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia starring great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. Who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift for grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Anchor FM, Amazon, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter, and check out the merchandise at the MikeWagnerShow.com and also on Amazon.com. At the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, makes great gifts 24/7 year-round for family and friends. And check out the Mia Molson-Zia store on Amazon for great books like Missing, Once, Wrinkles, and cool merchandise at more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. And don't forget to support us on Anchor FM, PayPal, at the Mike Wagner Show, or Mike Wagner Voiceover. And also support us at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you give generously today. He's back by popular demand, and he's always one of my favorites. He's given us an update on his great show that's going on in New York, which is called Profiles, and it's been going on for 20 years now, featuring great guests like Joan Rivers, Joan Collins, and Joe Montana, Smokey Robinson, Isaac Hayes, and more. And this wonderful gentleman began his career at WNYW TV in New York City with the 10 o'clock news and also Mercury Report, Sports Extra. And he also won some Emmy Awards as well, too, and created the great show of Profiles back in 98 with Quest Media as well, too. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, backed by popular demand, the very multi-talented Mickey Burns. Mickey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hi, Mike. Always a pleasure to be on your show. I love coming back.
Oh, it's great.
I got to tell you, I like your merchandise. I got to get some of that for my show.
Oh, you know something? Here, you can order this on Amazon.com. Go to the Mike Wagner Show. And if you need some help, I can send you the link. And, for your lovely female fans, give them something to sleep with. So.
Great idea. And I got to get a line going myself. You're inspiring me, Mike.
Oh my gosh, you know something? You're inspiring me as well too, and we'll talk about your book as well too. And you've had a great career. We had you on and talked extensively about that, and we talked about your book from the projects to Profiles, a memoir, and now you also have a second book that's out. And before we get into all that. Inside Celebrity Profiles, we're going to surprise you, but a little sneak peek. So once again, just quickly tell us how I got started before we go into your latest projects.
Right. How I got started with the books?
Just starting your career, just very quickly before we go into your books.
Yeah. I was doing as you had mentioned, I started at Fox in New York City. And then I was doing, interestingly, a news magazine. I was hosting it and also doing one feature in the show, and that feature was a celebrity profile, Mike, and it was like 4 minutes. So I used to go into Manhattan to see Danny Aiello, who was on Broadway, or Gladys Knight on Broadway, and after the show we would get a little B-roll of the play, and then I would get a little bite backstage, and we'd make a 1-minute segment. And then one day I went back to the studio and I said, guys, I have a great like 25-minute interview with Gladys Knight, but I'm going to use 4 minutes. I said, what? It's criminal. I said, we should start another show because a lot of these celebrities want to talk about themselves long form other than what they're doing currently. They want to talk about where they grew up, how they grew up, who inspired them. And I think we should do a long form interview show, call it Profiles, half-hour show, and see how it goes. And we started right out. And at the beginning, we had no trouble getting guests, Mike. We're in New York. That helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Very. I mean, you got a king scroll of it as well, too. And I noticed Mayim Bialga's on there. And who knows, she'd be the latest Jeopardy co-host or something.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh, my gosh.
One of the things that we discussed during our interview with Mayim Bialik was she's like a neuroscientist.
Mm-hmm.
She's intelligent, and she's written books on the subject. So when she got the job at Jeopardy, I wasn't the least bit surprised. Because she's an intellectual.
Mm-hmm. Very indeed as well, too. And of course, continuing on our profiles, I mean, you just had great guests, Smokey Robinson, Tony Orlando, Joe Montana, and Joan Rivers, Danny Glover. And of course, Joan Rivers was very significant and, just for a very good reason.
Yeah, I like Joan very much. Also very intelligent. People didn't realize how intelligent she was. She graduated top of a class in college. I think she had a degree in anthropology, actually, Mike.
Wow.
But the last time, did I tell you my Joe Montana story?
I do believe you did, but I love this so much. I want to hear it again. I'm a huge football fan, as you can tell.
I mentioned it because I know you're a Green Bay Packer fan, right?
Yeah, and also I also got this Denver Broncos coffee mug as a reminder starting the Mike Wagner show, taking my family through South Dakota, and it was all Denver Broncos merchandise, and I picked up a Shopko near Mount Rushmore. Yeah, $10. It's just, what a deal.
As a Green Bay Packer fan, I think you're going to have a long season, Mike. But anyway, that's the end of there. They don't only game one. But anyway, I'm at the beginning of doing profiles, I'm interviewing Joe Montana in his hotel suite in New Jersey. He's there for a sports memorabilia conference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They said, Mickey, come with your crew. Get here at 4:30. Joe will be here at 5:30. Give you an hour to set up your lights and your cameras. We get there 4:30. We set up the lights, cameras. We still got 20 minutes to spare. And we noticed they put out a nice spread for us. So we all had lunch with potato salad and turkey, cheese, whatever you wanted. Back at 5:30, Joe walks in the door with his manager. And I see the manager look around. He spots me and he gives me this, I want to see you in the corner over here.
Uh-huh.
I can't. Or we didn't even interview Joe yet, and there's a problem. So I get over there. The manager looks me straight in the eye and he said, who ate Joe's dinner?
Uh-oh.
So the food that we were feasting on, that wasn't for us. Like that was for Joe Montana. But we assumed that they put it out for our crew.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, I don't even remember the interview with Joe Montana that distinctly. But what I remember was starting it off apologizing to him for eating his lunch.
Oh, I was just getting hungry, to be honest with you.
and it was one of those things where he responded. He was very kind. And he said, Mickey, I would never eat that garbage. Put it there for me. After the interview, I'm going to a nice Italian restaurant. So wow. I don't know if he was just being nice, but he did let us off the hook. And the one thing I learned that night is never assume anything.
That's right. And of course, it happens when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I mean, I've learned that a long time ago, and that is still in force these days.
And I got my hand caught in the cookie jar.
Oh.
No, it was embarrassing, but Joe let us off the hook. It was no big deal.
Oh, that's good. And of course, he's really good about as well, too. You also have Mario Lopez, George Foreman, Mary Wilson, Neil Sedaka, and of course, Dick Cavanaugh. People, it's like, he's still alive. Well, he's like 92, 93 or something. Yeah. It's like, wow.
He's making less and less public appearances, I wanted to have him on a show last year, just before the pandemic. And his publicist said, that he really wasn't. I think he had like a minor stroke, and that he would do the interview, but you'd have to come to his house.
Mm.
And we were ready to do that. And that's when the beginning of the pandemic started, and we decided it wouldn't be a good idea.
Right. Yes. And of course, this also led up to your book as well, too, with the second book, Inside Celebrity Profiles. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance that makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever gift for grandma's recipes, or just because those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809, or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and over 30 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, hoodies, a lot more, makes great gifts. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Me and Molson-Zia store for great books and merchandise. Make sure you check it out today. And don't forget to support us generously at the MikeWagnerShow.com and also on Anchor FM and also PayPal. Make sure you do so today because we work hard just for you. We're here with the very, very multi-talented host of Profiles, Mickey Burns, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And of course, going from your first book, from the projects to Profiles, a memoir, let's go to your second book, Inside Celebrity Profiles, and tell us how you got started on that.
Well, that's a great segue, Mike. You did that really smooth.
I learned that from you, Mickey. That's why.
During the pandemic, we had time on our hands, and one day I asked my photographer, Robert Brunfeld, so Robert, how many photos have you taken on the set of Profiles behind the scenes over 20 years? And he said, I have no idea, but when I go home, I'll check the computer and I'll get back to you tonight. He called me that evening. He said, I have 14,562 photos.
Whoa, 14,562. Oh my gosh. I don't know if we have that in our family. Those pictures we took.
I was blown away. So I called our publicist, Eileen Shapiro, who then called our book publisher, New Haven Publishing. And within 24 hours, I had a deal to do the set. Whoops, Mike, where are you?
Oh, I'm still here, Mickey. I'm still here. I didn't leave you. You're back again now. So don't you love new technology?
So I was telling him that right now. So now we had time on our hands during the pandemic. It took me almost 2 years to write the memoir, but I was doing it from the projects to Profiles. I was doing it in my spare time whenever I could find a window. Now I had plenty of time on my hands with the pandemic, and we had over 14,000 photos.
Whoa.
So the summer of the pandemic, I guess it was last summer, we spent almost the entire summer, a team of us, going through the photos and putting it together. And how we did it, which I thought was interesting, we made it easier for us. We broke it up into categories. One is the singers we've had, like Smokey Robinson, the actors like Danny Aiello, the musicians like Chuck Mangione, the comedians like Joan Rivers, and the influencers like Misty Copeland, let's say, and Dr. Maya Angelou. So So it was easy to do it. The challenge we had is we had 14,000 photos. We were limited to 122 pages.
Oh my.
We only could use maybe 600 photos. So how do you pick the best 600 out of 14,000? That was the challenge.
Oh my gosh. It makes you wonder, how did you do it? And what is the criteria of having those exclusive 600 out of the 14,000? Like, I can't even pick one.
Right. Well, we were looking for the ones that were the most candid and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I remember we had who sang that song, "The One of Us," and I
One
can't
of us. Okay. Let's
That was
see.
a
One of
challenge.
us. Yeah.
All right, but it'll come to me in a second, and I can't believe it. I don't know it right off the bat. But they caught a candid shot of her putting on her makeup, looking into the mirror,
Uh-huh.
and they shot it into the mirror, and it was like this unique, interesting shot. Stuff like that. Smokey Robinson, I had given him a putter because I read somewhere he was struggling with his putting.
Mm-hmm.
He was so touched by the fact that we were thoughtful enough to give him this putter. He's hugging me on the set with the putter in his hand.
Oh.
And these are precious photos. You're not going to see them on TV. So most of the shots in the book are something that most of the shots in the book you're not going to see them on TV. What you see on TV is the show with them sitting across trying to create a compelling interview.
Mm-hmm.
All that's here, all behind the scenes stuff. Wow. I think that's very interesting.
That does sound interesting as well, too. Hugging with a golf club and all that. If I'm on golf clubs, I'm a bad day. I'll probably break them. Especially missing the 18th hole and trying to beat Tiger Woods or something. So yeah.
I gave the golf club. I said, Smokey, I know you're struggling with your putting, and that's his hobby. And I said, I'm going to give you this golf club, which is guaranteed to make every putt under 4 feet. And he said, well, what happens if that doesn't come to fruition? I said, well, send it back. I'll use it.
I think that's a good one. Yes.
Send it back, so it must be working.
Oh my gosh. And of course, I'm sure Tiger would pay good money for it. He's got to win those championships and trying to catch up with the money. It's like, you probably give it to him, I'm sure. So
he's got to heal first. He's got to heal that ankle,
Oh yeah. And of course, he has such bad luck as well, too. And of course, I heard about that accident. It's like, the question is he going to make a comeback? And if he did, will he be the same? I guess that's kind of a curious as well, too. It's like, how's he going to do after the accident?
Well, I think the jury is still out on him. He's not a kid anymore. He's in his 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So healing process is going to be a little bit longer and slow. And then when he does come back, how is it going to affect his swing and his endurance? Everyone hopes he can come back. That would be such a Cinderella story, but it's not going to be easy for him.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's been some inspirational stories as well, too, that like you talked about in your show, that you had people coming in New York all the time. They're coming in droves. And also the pandemic hit. It's like things have changed a great deal. And you pretty much had the change on the fly. And how great of a change was it for you? And how well did you think you adjusted to it?
Well, I that's a great question, Mike. And I think we adjusted rather well. Better than most, just like Tiger's putting, better than most. But we had to work at it, because what happened prior to the pandemic, we would get tons of great guest celebrities that were coming through New York to promote their new book, their new CD, their new movie, their new TV show, their appearance in New York. And that came to a screeching halt, right? Mm-hmm. Be on Broadway for 2 months. Broadway is closed. So we ended up having to, once we felt comfortable doing in-person interviews again, which was about a year ago, August. So we were one of the first to come back. We all got our vaccines. That was mandatory. And then we tried to get back as quickly as we could. But we had to be creative in that. I went to my Rolodex. I started calling up celebrities within a 50-mile radius of the city and said, listen, I need a favor. Please come back to the city just to do my show for one day, I'd really appreciate it. A lot of them stepped up to the plate. I can think of Kim Sledge from Sister Sledge. She drove in from Pennsylvania. Robert Cool Bell from Kool and the Gang drove in from New Jersey. This week I'm interviewing. Very interesting. You'll like this. Al Bandiero. You might not know him, but he was a radio legend in New York in the 70s and 80s.
Really interesting.
But you will know him because he was the announcer in Rocky IV.
Really? Rocky IV. That is interesting. I'm trying to remember which one was it, the Rocky IV? Was that the one with the Russian or something?
Yes, Drago.
That's what I thought. Yeah, living in America. I remember that so well.
Yeah, James Brown. That was great. So I get a call from his publicist a couple of weeks ago. I would like to be on Profiles because Rocky IV is about to be re-released in November with a director's cut.
Oh, really?
Well, they're going to re-release it in theaters in November, but it's a director's cut. And I don't know if that's Stallone or somebody else, but he's the announcer and he's helping with the promotion of the re-release. So again, he's traveling into the city just to do this. So I had to be and then I went to my city people like Melba Moore, who lives 10 blocks away from the studio, Marilyn Michaels, the impressionist, who lives in the city. And the same thing, I had to get people who were not coming through New York, but either lived here or were close by in Long Island or New Jersey. And we haven't missed a beat. We've been able to keep our pace and our schedule.
Wow. That is amazing. And I thought about it as well, too. It's like, get some guys from the Mets or the Yankees, Giants or Jets, or like, say, the Rangers, Islanders, Devils or something. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's like now you get my creative juices going, which is good.
I had Ron Darling. He was the pitcher for the 86 Mets, and Keith Hernandez, who was the first baseman. And now they're both announcers for the Met home games on local channel, sports channel in New York.
How do you like that? And I remember Ron Darling, one of the commercials for RC Cola, where he would just shake off, like, say that, some people like the taste of Coke, some people like the taste of Pepsi, but some people prefer RC. And I thought, that was a really good one too. And of course, being a Cub fan back in '84, it's like you were conditioned to hate Ron Darling, Dwight Gooden, Keith Hernandez, Mookie Wilson. What's a Mookie? And all that. But it was just so much fun, having like, angry rivals, but it was fun watching baseball back then.
And another sports figure I had, and I don't do a lot of sports figures, but I do some. I had Dale Berra, Yogi's son, on the show when somebody wrote a book about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
That was great because Dale was also a Major League Baseball player. And one of my favorites for sports recently was Jerry Cooney, who fought Larry Holmes for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Really? Wow.
In 1980 something. Oh yeah. He's a very popular guy.
Oh my gosh.
A share of sports. I'd like to do more. I'd like to get a Nick or a Net or a Yankee. They're tough to get during the season, but after the season, they're available.
Mm-hmm. And I could think of one too. He used to live up in Williston, North Dakota, Phil Jackson. He was like Mr. Nick himself too, and coached the Lakers, coached the Bulls to 6 titles. And that's one I could think of, like Phil Jackson too. That's another one too. And oh my gosh, the book on Zen's like, ooh, amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you. I spend a lot of my time. Who do I want on a show? How can I make a great, compelling interview? How can I get the best guest available? And it's been an ongoing endeavor for 20 years.
Wow, that is amazing. I salute you and a big congratulations, and may go 20, 30, 40 more. Keep it going, please.
Thank you so much. As long as they'll put up with me, I'll do it.
That's not too difficult. I mean, bring back Joe Montana, but this time forget the sandwiches. Have like Philly steak, prime rib or something, or even steak sandwiches, or like grilled chicken or something.
when Joe Montana goes back on the show, I'm buying him lunch next time.
And that's a very good idea. And where can we find from your projects, the profiles, a memoir, and also your second book, Inside Celebrity Profiles, which is a coffee book?
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. But the memoir, which has done really well, but you can find it on barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Same with the coffee table book, Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey. It's a coffee table book. Find either of them. You know, it's as simple as you could put my name in, Mickey Burns, and both books should pop up, or put the title of the book in, which is From the Projects to Profiles, a memoir, or Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey. And you'll see it right there. If you order it today, within 3 days, you'll have the books.
Sounds good. We certainly will do so. And what's coming up for Mickey Burns and more, we'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show, the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios. Visit online at SoundWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The of Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where memory is a key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. We'll be back with the host of Profiles and the very multi-talented from New York, Mickey Burns, after this time out. We're back with the multi-talented host of Profiles, Mickey Burns, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And great chat with you again, Mickey, and keeping us up to date with from the project of Profiles, a memoir, and also the new coffee book, Inside Celebrity Profiles. And what else can you expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Mickey?
Well, I think at this point, we want to continue making profiles compelling and interesting. And to, as I said, to get the best guests available.
Mm-hmm.
One of the issues, I don't know if you have this issue, Mike, but we get a ton of requests from people who would like to appear as guests on the show.
Oh my gosh, that is such a challenge. And it comes like all these projects and everything. It feels like you become a host and suddenly a project manager. I know how that goes. Oh my God.
And a lot of the people who are requesting, some of them are big names who are, want to promote something. But a lot of them are, how you say, celebrities on the come or up and coming people.
Mm-hmm.
Profiles was really established and developed that you already have to be established. Almost you're a celebrity and you're almost like an icon in your field. So I always have a difficult time of telling people, how do you tell someone, well, you're just not a big enough celebrity to be on the show.
Mm.
Myself and my people always have, because that's not the kind, there are many shows like that, that feature people who are up and coming, and it's interesting and it's fun, but that's not what our show is.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you have to be like on all the major networks and all the major movie companies, and number one all across the board, and just recognized on every magazine, newspaper, radio, TV. I know exactly how it goes, believe me. So and of course you got to play for the Mets and Yankees too. That's what helps also.
You bet. But I'm getting better at it, of saying, well, we'll keep you in mind. And you're on our list, and if we're interested, we will get back to you. So you don't want to insult anybody. You want to let them down easy, but it's never easy doing that.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I was trained in one area. We'll say, we'll contact you in 6 months and see if things change, or can you contact in 6 months? That's another one too. It's like, contact further down the road and see if anything's changed.
Sure. I remember one, and my wife will never let me forget it. Lin Miranda, who did his play on Broadway. What's the name of his Hamilton?
Hamilton, yes, Hamilton.
Right. He created Hamilton, but I had a pitch from his publicist when he was doing his first show, In the Heights,
mm-hmm.
and I passed.
Ooh.
I passed. Now he's the hottest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
We don't always make the right choices, and we're not always that smart,
Mm-hmm. Right.
We make mistakes.
And of course, we're all human as well too. And of course, we'll go back to the days of who was it? What was it? Decca Records actually passed on the Beatles, saying they're average, little talent, whatever else, and then Beatles signed on with Capitol, and the rest is history. And I mean, that was like a big story right there. It's just like, they're saying that never pass on a talents. Like, people are like, who are the next Beatles and everything else. It's like they didn't cry about it. They just moved on.
You're right. That's a good point because American Idol is another great example of that. When originated in Europe and England, and they tried to bring it to the United States. In England, it was called not American Idol; it was called the X Factor.
X Factor. Okay, I think I've heard something like that.
Right, and it's still in Europe. It's still there as the X Factor. And when they brought it here to the States, they went to all the cable companies, and they all passed on it.
Wow.
Then Rupert Murdoch's daughter was on vacation in England and saw the X Factor on TV and loved it. And when she came back, she told her father, "Dad, I think this is something, you're making a mistake not giving it a shot because it's huge over there and it's a great show. I think it'd be huge here in the States."
Mm-hmm.
He decided to give them a chance and make it a summer replacement show.
Huh, that's interesting.
So they were only on for like the summer replacement, basically to see how it went.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it blew up and it became the most popular TV show in the United States television history.
That is very interesting. I can imagine Simon Cowell being rejected. He's like, oh, I see you have to reject me. And he'll rattle off every insult, I'm sure. So,
and most of the executives that passed on that show are driving school buses today.
oh my gosh. Word to the wise, word to the wise. Listen to Mickey, word to the wise.
Make mistakes though. We made it on Mr. Miranda from Hamilton when he was starting out. I would give my right arm to have that interview in the can today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I probably have my share of mistakes, and I have my share of, hey, I'll take on this person when it turned out to be like a dud, or say like a wannabe, or end up being like a con or a felon and all that. And and yeah, it's just like, it's almost like a crapshoot, but yeah, you're right. You never know. That's the thing.
No. So it's an ongoing battle, and you always hope that you make the right decision.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing a great job of it for 20 years as well too. And since your first book did really well, from the projects, the profiles, and memoir, your second book is on the verge of taking off, Inside Celebrity Profiles. And can we expect like a third book, maybe a fourth or fifth or sixth, even if it is a coffee table?
Right now there is we have 14,000 photos we didn't use in the first book. Yes, we could do a coffee table too. As far as writing a book, writing your memoir, it took almost 2 years. Mike, it takes a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of energy. You really have to be ready to take on that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was taking notes on the bus and the subway, eating lunch before I went to bed. I had a notepad. Every time an idea popped into my head, I didn't want to forget it, so I would jot it down. It's a real, if you want to do it right, it's a total commitment to do it. So I'm not that eager to do it right now.
Right. That makes perfect sense. And I'm glad you reinforce it. My wife keeps bugging me. It's like, you got to start writing it down. Put a memoir right by your journal, or your journal right by your bedpost. You got to write this down. And I've been slowly but surely starting to do it. And I myself, I'm going to start a memoir of the Mike Wagner Show in January 2022. And I got to say this, you're an amazing inspiration, Mickey. You are an inspiration.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I hope you get that book done.
Oh, definitely will. And I'll be glad to have you on as well too. Maybe trade books or something. And I'm still working on my signature. So yeah.
I want to share with you is who inspired me to write the first book. I didn't share that with you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you know something? We've been talking about your first and second book and how it got started. It's like, what inspired you? Oh my God, that is a good question. I'm kicking myself in the rear end for not asking that question.
Realized why I had the energy to do it in the first place. I had as a guest Chuck Barris
Uh-huh.
about 5 years ago. Do you remember who Chuck was?
Yeah, the Gong Show.
Gong Show. He was also the creator of the Newlywed Game and the Dating Game.
I remember that. Yeah. Mwah.
And he was the head of daytime programming for the network. So he was a big shot in the business.
Mm-hmm.
He was then when he retired from TV, he was a prolific author. And he wrote like several books. And he was on my profiles to discuss his latest book. And in the middle, with talking about in the middle of the interview, he stopped me. He said, "Mickey, hold on a second." He said, "You have a book in you," out of the clear blue. And I said, "Mr. Barris, I would never have the time to write a book." He says, "No, you're wrong, Mickey. Do like I did for my first book." He said, "Write 1 page a day. At the end of the year, you got your book."
Wow. 1 page a day. I've got to remember that.
And
1 page a day.
End of the year, you got your book. So I'm, this is in the back of my mind. And then on a rainy Saturday, I was all alone in the house and it was raining out. I said, why don't I sit down and see if I can write a couple of pages, like Chuck said. And I sat down with a notebook and I think I ended up writing the first 20 pages that day.
Wow.
Because I couldn't take his advice, Mike. I can't write 1 page. I tried, I can't do it. I write in clusters.
Mm-hmm.
I get inspired by a thought or an idea and I start writing and it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I may not get inspired for another 2 or 3 days and I'll write 3 or 4 or 5 pages.
Huh.
I could not do, and like he said, every day, oh, it's time to write that 1 page. I tried, I couldn't do it.
It's almost like you have a writer's block. You might be in a bad mood or you might go blank or something.
But it was Chuck Barris who convinced me that I have a book or 2 in me.
And 3, 4, and 5 more. And of course, nowadays you don't feel like writing. You can also speak into your phone as well too. And someone told me about a program which I've got written down somewhere. You can actually speak your thoughts into an app or a program on a laptop and spells it out for you. You can edit later. It's like, I can't think of it right now. And I interviewed a guy and mentioned you can do it on an app or on a laptop where you have a microphone, you speak your thoughts and it transcribes almost like a book in a way, and you can edit later.
It's great. I'm old school. I wrote everything out longhand.
Mm-hmm. I guess I can take your advice as well too, but it's like, I love mixing both, that's just how the show is old school with modern technology. And that's what we're doing right now. So
one other thought, because we're talking about Chuck Barris, many of your viewers will remember him. He was very big back in the Gong Show days. But the last question that I ask every guest that I've had on my show for 20 years is, what do you hope your legacy will be? And interestingly, you never know what you're going to get with that question. You never know. Usually it's interesting though. So when I asked Chuck Barris, I said, Chuck, what do you hope your legacy will be? He didn't hesitate. He said, I want it written on my tombstone, gonged at last. So
gonged at last.
Gonged at last. So Chuck passed away now about 4 or 5 years ago. And I read in they had a nice article in the New York Times, and I read it, and I'm reading it, and it made reference. What do you think's on his tombstone?
Gonged at last.
At last. And so he got his wish. And when I had Meatloaf, remember Meatloaf the singer?
I remember that 2 out of 3 ain't bad in Paradise by the Dashboard of Light. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I said to him, what do you hope your legacy? He said he said, I want on my tombstone, I told you I was sick.
I told you I was sick.
Yeah. But he's still going strong, so you don't have to worry about Meatloaf.
And of course, that made me think of this question is, what would your lasting legacy would be?
Well, that's an interesting one too, because somebody asked me about that and I put it in the book. Here it is. Can I read it to you?
Absolutely.
So this way I get it right. Somebody asked me, what do you hope your legacy would be? They turned it on me. And I said, I just hope that after producing over 500 episodes over 20 years, that I've entertained people, educated people, and most importantly, along the way, perhaps we've inspired people to be better.
I love it. Yes, I truly love it.
But that I put some thought into.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the stuff you got to put into as well too. And I ask people all the time, it's like, what's your ideal death? It may sound pretty gruesome. I get all these interesting ideas. Someone threw it at me and they asked, what's your ideal death? I said, I would die behind the microphone, giving new meaning to dead air.
And I got to tell you, you and I, we do what we do. We love what we do, but we really don't really know who's watching, who is affected by it, by what they hear, right? We really don't know. And I was at an affair last night called Legends of Vinyl in City, and they honor all the people from the disco era and stuff like that. And I can't tell you, this one guy came up to me and said, Mickey, I never miss your show. He said, keep doing what you're doing, because you don't realize how you inspire people. And Mike, I can't tell you how much that means, because it never dawns on me that I might be doing something like that. I'm just trying to do the best interview I can.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody to tell me this is what's happening out in the world from our program. What could be better than that?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, now I get to do better. Let's keep going,
Right. And of course, make an episode better and better and better and better. And I think that's one of my goals too, is just make it better or just keep the train moving. And I got an email a while back saying that you don't know me, but I follow your Facebook posts and I listen to your show, and you definitely inspire. And I one guy just simply get out of depression because he listened to a Mike Wagner show, and he had heart surgery. And I thought, wow, I didn't know that.
Right. And when you hear it, it inspires you to do better.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And I walked out of it last night saying, we're doing some good stuff.
Yes.
That's
totally agree. And if you can make a person laugh as well too, you've done your job. That's how I look at it. Also, you make a person laugh or make a person, cry with tears of joy or anything, or just walk away with a big smile on the face. You've done your job.
Yeah. And Mike, the perfect guest for my show is somebody who's iconic, but maybe they've been out of the news and the mainstream for some years. It's almost like, where are they now? Or what are they doing now? Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Bobby Rydell. People love it. I just had Felipe Rose from the Village People on. He was the Indian. Wow. And I can't tell you how they want to be on. They're so professional. They're so polished after 40 years in show business. They have so much to offer. And people want to know all about their life and their career. So it's just an honor to be able to do this thing.
And also, most importantly, what are they up to these days? It's like they're also reaching out to a new audience, or getting people, the old ones, to relive, hey, this is what's happening. It's like, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, Kim Sledge, come on. They have a new movie about the life of Sister Sledge. It's going to be a movie. Felipe Rose has a new single out called Dance Again.
Oh my gosh.
They're all vibrant. They're all doing stuff, and a great opportunity to share with our demographic all this stuff that's happening for them, or else they have no way of getting it out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's where the podcasts come in as well too, especially during the pandemic, that your show pretty much thrived during the pandemic, and a lot of podcasts, including myself, I have to say, have actually thrived. It's like you can't go on a network, you can't go into a movie theater or a TV show, cable network or anything like that, or a studio. It's like, people go to podcasts, and actually podcasts have actually boomed since the pandemic. It's like, I'm getting people all the time. It's like, if people ask me, hey, has your show been affected? It says, in a great way. People want to come on. Here I am, king scroll of people. They just want to get on the show, and the list keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And I'm running out of room in this studio.
Yeah. Well, a matter of fact, when the pandemic hit, we tried to do Zoom. You know, even though we're like on a network television platform, we said, well, let's do it. I mean, CNN was doing it, and other shows were doing it. But you know, to be honest, I felt I was terrible at it. I was not. It just was not my platform. You know, I need to be sitting across from someone, face to face, person to person. I've been doing it for 20 years, and I just didn't have a good feel for it, and I don't think I was very good at it. So we gave up on it.
I have to say that you and I are doing really well on Zoom right now as we speak, and I have no problem speaking to you. It's like you and I are just having a little cup of coffee, or back in the days, a beer or something, like, talking Mets in the 80s or something.
Right. Yeah, but I'm the guest.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
around, I just wasn't that comfortable with it.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't want to change after 20 years.
Right. Exactly. I know what you mean. I mean, if you've done it for so long, it's like, why change it? You're right. That's the whole thing. So
I could have pushed through and did episodes, doing it, you know, with the podcast format. But I just decided against it. I said, let's wait this thing out. And as soon as we can get back in the studio, we're going to do it. And we did.
hmm And of course, you're amazing as well, too. You've been doing it for 20 years. And once again, where can we find where can we find profiles, not just in New York, but even like all of the United States or the world? Where can they tune you in?
You know, what they could do is, you know, we must have a couple of hundred episodes, not the whole episode, but like 10 minutes on YouTube.
hmm
Mickey Burns TV on YouTube, and you'll see many of our classic episodes. For our most current episodes, all they have to do is go to NYC Media. That's the network we're on in New York, and they have a section. It's a conglomerate with radio and television. Just hit television, the shows will be listed. Hit profiles, and they run like our 10 latest shows in their entirety. I'm on Facebook, and I post everything about our show, Mickey Burns TV on Facebook. Instagram, same thing, Mickey Burns TV. And I'm also easy to get in touch with through those venues.
And of course, I can also get a hold of your books. And where can we find your books at?
Well, both books can be found at barnesandnoble.com, walmart.com, amazon.com. Just put in either Mickey Burns or the title of the book, and it should pop right up there, and you can order it and have it in 3 days.
We certainly would do so, and I'm gonna go ahead and order right now. Once again, Mickey Burns of From the Projects to Profiles, a memoir, and also the coffee book, Inside Celebrity Profiles. Mickey, it's always great to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you again. Just make sure you keep this up to date, and looking forward to having you again soon. And don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific as always. I can't wait to hear from you again.
Mike, I'd love to come back on your show. I love your show. You're the best at what you do, and I just want to wish you continued success, my friend.